This podcast is a quest for well-being, a quest for a meaningful life through the exploration of fundamental truth. Enlightening ideas, insights on physical, mental, and spiritual health. The inspiration is love. The aspiration is to awaken new ways of thinking that can lead us to a new way of being well. Welcome to Body, Mind, and Soul Healing Conversations.
Past is a situation that we cannot change, and the future is unpredictable. The only thing that we can impact and change is now. Therefore, breathing is so important because it centers us in the present moment. We gain more trust in life by accepting the situation we face if we cannot change it or leave, and it is related to trusting the process. By loving ourselves despite hardships, we honor our struggles, and this increases the trust in our abilities to handle the same situation again. On our way, we can ask for help, but at the end of the day, it is on us to fight the battle and to live our life. As we go through life winning and losing, in other words, as we become stronger, our trust in our abilities and skills grows, and we start trusting others and life more. The reward of trusting more in life is higher level of satisfaction, happiness, and better relationships. Working on your goals and living in alignment with your future leads to trusting more and discovering the true beauty of life. Life is simply more beautiful when we trust more in it, and I am sure you can do it. Valeria Teles interviews Sylvie Francesca, a life and performance coach, project manager, teacher, author, and speaker. Sylvie was a project manager, teacher, volunteer, and piano player. She also works with those who lived in other countries, as she lived in 4 countries herself. Her goal is to give her coaching clients tools and build their confidence to turn their vision into reality. The purpose of her life is to be a curious, ambitious, energetic, and joyful woman, courageously leading with patience, igniting change in people's lives for them to live more meaningful and purposeful life they desire, while supporting her dearest and closest with attention and love. Sylvie is connecting with her community via a bi-weekly newsletter, writes blog posts, and creates YouTube videos. You can find her on Instagram too. She has joined recently a certified high-performance coaching program to bring more purpose and meaning to her clients' lives. Sylvie graduated from Masaryk University with a MCE in economics and was a project manager before starting her coaching business. She enjoys yoga, playing badminton, dancing salsa, cooking Scotch eggs, and adventure travel. She lives in Cambridge, United Kingdom. Meet Sylvie at sylviefrancesca.com. Here is the interview with Sylvie Francesca.
In your own words, who is Sylvie Francesca?
Sylvie Francesca is ambitious, curious, and loving person who is leading courageously with patience, who is igniting change in people's lives in order for them to live more purposeful and meaningful life they deserve, while supporting my dearest and closest with attention and love.
Would you call this the purpose of your life?
Yes, that's exactly what it is. And I've worked for it for some time. It took me a few months to understand actually who am I and where also I would like to go in the future. And I came up with this.
How do we know, Sylvie, when we have found our purpose, when we are actually on the path? What are the signs?
For me, definitely it's something that feels good I many times feel that what I'm doing, it's not hard work. So I many times find myself in flow. There's a lot of abundance, a lot of expansion in what I'm doing and how I live my life on a daily basis. So finding the purpose is something that each of us, I believe, is looking for. The purpose obviously may change over the course of time as the life change and flows and goes in various directions. As we move countries, we meet new people, changing jobs, etc. But for me, definitely, it was something that I developed over the course of time. And now I would like to, through my coaching business and through my day-to-day life, obviously, to bring to people and help as much people as possible, as many people as possible in the world.
So my next warm-up question is about balance. How would you describe balance? Is that something that's connected to that idea of purpose or somehow disconnected or a separate thing?
Balance is something that is dynamic for me in many areas. It can change over the time as well. I would say that feeling balance means that I am able to contribute to on different areas, but I still feel fulfilled. So, for example, it's the home, it's the work, it's the business, it's my friends, my family, the self-love, the self-care. And obviously, I talk also about the spirituality, right? So connecting the source with the universe. And I believe that when we find really the proportion of the each week, if we do certain things that actually contribute to the balance, I think that we can feel the balance, and I definitely can feel it. It's something that it also helps me to reflect. I think reflection is one of the words that I would like to use also in the future when we will talk about the trust. Because by reflecting, if it is, let's say, weekly on a Sunday, if you have like spiritual practice or event, or another day, but the regular reflection actually helped me, and I'm sure many of your audience. It helps to find the balance, because once we reflect, we can see, oh, I did too much of that, or, oh, I could actually help this person more, or maybe I need to relax here in this area a little bit. So I believe that through the reflection that is done on a regular basis, I was able to find the right balance. And it's not that it's set, right? It's dynamic, it's a process. But having the regular reflection, I believe that it's the key to maintain the balance in the long term.
I love that idea. And that makes me think about spiritual practices. Is that part of your spiritual practices? And also, what is your spiritual beliefs, Sylvie?
I do Sunday reviews. Yeah. So every Sunday I have a special planner. I have the High Performance Planner by Brendan Burchard, where there are certain coaching questions and that helped me to actually reflect on the week. In different areas. I also score myself in different areas, how I did in my relationship, health, finances, learning, experience, etc. I understand that for some reason the scoring may be maybe too much or too artificial, but it actually helps me to see, in this week, it was better in this area. In that week, I need to do more in the other area. So definitely in terms of the Sunday review, that's one of my reflection. I do also daily reviews. So I look at the day and I think, I haven't developed this. I have heard someone or read an article about that. One of the best questions to ask at the end of the day, it's what went well today. And then, like writing down everything that actually was good. Because what we do is, thanks to this practice, we focus on the good things. We are scanning the day as it went. And obviously each of us, had ups and downs, successes or things that we would like to maybe do better. We regret that it happened this or not that way. But thanks to this short exercise, the mind is really focused on the good things. And obviously this leads to being grateful. That's why then, and also it's also in the evening. So, when we are preparing for the sleep, and everything goes into the subconscious mind. And then obviously it contributes to the fact that the next day, we live more with, yesterday I had a really good day. It's kind of, it transits also to the next day. So yeah, that's the question to your about the practice. In terms of my spiritual, so I was raised and born in the Catholic country. I regularly practice going to the church, and then in my late 20s I stopped. So it's more than 10 years ago. But now obviously I lived in a. But now I actually attend and go to the to church more if I need to be more connected with God, or if I would like some support, or I would like to thank Him. So it's more on if I want to have deeper connection with God, because I believe that the God is here right now. When I speak with you, the God is here, the God is it's everywhere. So definitely I still have that connection. And it's just that maybe, I am not practicing as in the past, which I believe that it doesn't really affect that much my life, because I do other things. But also trust in the universe, also that definitely in general. Yeah, so sometimes God, I know some people, they call it God, they call it universe. I believe definitely believing in something that is bigger than us, opening up, surrender. That's something that I also learned and developed, over the last 5 to 10 years. And it definitely helped me, to find a purpose and find the balance and to become who I have become now.
So the idea of God is interesting too. I mean, it's true. We all have different words, I guess, for that something that's beyond ourselves. And I call it energy, I guess, divine. Sometimes I call it divine energy or divine force. But energy is the word that I choose to use, if it is a choice. And speaking of that, do you believe in free will and controlling our own lives and choosing what to do next? Is that something that it's coming from the individual, or this is just life doing what it does?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I believe it's related to the balance again. I don't definitely think that we have 100% control of our life. Even our ego or our mind would love that.
Yes, right. Oh, yeah.
Sorry, you were saying?
For sure. Yes, no doubt. The ego will love that. The separated self. Yep.
Yeah, the ego would love that. But yeah, it's... I've learned many times that even though, everything is super planned and triple checked,
yes,
things not go according to the plan all the time. So that's why I would say that the control really lies or in the preparation. I would say that if I do for example, I would use the example of job interview. Right. I'm sure many of your audience here have had job interviews or are currently going through the recruitment process for a position. And so for me, and I also changed the jobs, I've worked with 5 different companies, I've been in the recruitment process many times, but that's why I can say that definitely, I can do everything I can. I can prepare days, weeks, read about all the materials, practice this or that. But then you kind of like go to the interview and you let it go. You kind of surrender. You obviously have certain control of how you behave, the thoughts, emotions, and the actions that you then generate. But then in general, like because it's a relationship, there is a connection, right, with the interviewer or with the panel of the interviewers. There is no direct connection of there is no, I can't really control the outcome 100%. So so I would say that this is something. There are certain things we can control, but we definitely can't control everything, because we are part of the universe. We have our purpose here, and many times things not go according to the plan, which in the short term, I, for example, find that I was not happy with the outcome, but in the long run, when I looked back, and again, I reflected, I say, oh, that was actually one of the best things that happened, even though I was not happy with the outcome back then. But in the long term, I was like, yeah, thanks to this event, I was able to, my life shifted in another direction. And actually, in the long term, the result or, the feeling of fulfillment and purpose was much, much better.
How do you define success these days? What is to be successful to you?
Success for me means to live the life with purpose, to wake up every day and to know that there are people I can help. There are people who I can support. Also that I am part of the bigger community. There are also people who I can rely on, right? So the relationship, I would say, I would actually use one of the words of my one of my teachers or person that I really like learning from, Esther Perel, which is she's psychotherapist and marriage counselor, and she said that the quality of life depends on the quality of your relationships. And for me, success is really defined by the quality of relationships, because that gives me the joy and the energy to then live the life that I want and also bring back to the community, right? And then you create this beautiful flow of getting and giving, and I think that actually generates then more abundance in life and in the world.
Oh, wow. Yes, I love that. That is almost like the definition of love in a way, that giving and receiving. That's what love seems to be, if we can be described. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's something to reflect upon, Sylvie. So, what was the inspiration to become a life and performance coach?
I've been, since my late 20s, I was really interested in personal development. I wanted to understand why and how the life works, and why certain things happen this way and not that way. So basically, I started following different mentors and different coaches, and I think that they were, by now, there were maybe 30 or 40. But obviously, over the course of time, I have selected those that I am currently following and listening to, and get also the inspiration from. So one of the reasons was that personal development, I believe, has a lot of meaning in my life. It had a lot of impact. And it's a continuous learning. So I know that, till the rest of my life, I will be interested in this, because it's a never-ending topic, even though it's obviously related to the spirituality as well. So that's because I have been working in this topic, in this area learning about that for about 10 years. And then also the fact that I lived in my life in 4 countries. I have worked in 3 of them. And in each of the country, I lived 7 years, around 7 years. So I think that also the life experience that I bring to my clients of moving from one country to another, and what it means actually, that from scratch. Like, for example, I can share with you one story that I have in my late 20s. So I think that, I was a young girl or a young lady, moving from Prague to Warsaw. It was my second job after university. And I really, so I passed the test and I went only to the interview to Warsaw by night bus because that was the, affordable and quickest way to do it. But yeah, I got the job. I was really excited. But also I haven't lived in this country, right? I just visited it for a couple of hours for the interview. But I believed, and this is also something that I believe is related to the trust. I trusted that there was this little voice within telling me that this is something, like, give it a try, like, go ahead. Like, I knew that also if it is not going to work, it's not that you have to, travel 12 hours. You just get on a train or plane and get back, to your family, to the old life. So, but still, it was a big risk for me. But thankfully, I had my friends. They helped me to move all my things. Yeah, and started with, renting a room and getting to know the city and building the relationships. And it was really, I think that what helped me the most, and I believe that this is also can help someone who is listening and someone who is actually thinking about, moving to another country or even in another city, is that what helped me every time when I moved was to try to be part of the group or community of the culture as much as possible. So, for example, for me, it meant that I learned Polish. I really wanted to learn Polish. It's one of the most difficult languages, but, I passed the exams. I was really into learning it because I knew, even though a lot of people speak English in Warsaw and in the circle that I was at that time, I knew that I was speaking their language. It's something that I will be more integrated and part of the community, and also that would help me to, be, contribute more and also be someone who is happy, right? Happy and live the life in the foreign country that time on a different level. So I believe that the language is definitely something, or attending some courses or classes, if it's sport or cooking classes or programming classes. I think that finding that circle of, first, obviously you have the acquaintance level, and then obviously that out of these people, then I become friends and then best friends. It obviously takes time. It takes daily work. But definitely the fact that I moved from one country to another and I survived, survived in a quote, survived the first week and then the first month. And then obviously after the 6 months, you have like, okay, well, I made it. Should I stay or should I go now, as you hear in the song? I believe that definitely was something that gave me the trust into my abilities, into also it helped me to understand that, you can, it's good to listening, to the little voice within. And it also, even though it's hard at the beginning, because obviously, we expand the comfort zone. Yeah, and it's just a lot of challenges at the beginning that I had no idea about. You can't plan. No, you can't plan for this. But it's like little by little, going through the process and trusting that, the right thing you do is actually what you are doing. So, and if I made a mistake, of course I made a lot of mistakes. I believe that every mistake, the action is better than not doing really anything and be passive. So going back to your question, having the experience in the personal development, and then, being able to move from different countries, being able to create the circle, I have thought that also the person I have become over the course of time. I have 2 years ago, I have realized that actually now I decided to become a coach because I have very much an interest to help others with if they like to change their lives, their habits, or if they like to change their career, find another job more satisfying, or if they like to increase their performance, if they like to feel more energized, more courageous, or living with more meaningful and purpose. So that's why I have become the coach.
It does takes courage to listen to that voice that we call it intuition, or the inner wisdom that you mentioned too in the article you sent me. You talk about inner wisdom, trust in that. It takes a lot of courage. I have done myself too, and I know how powerful that is. Once we listen to that voice and then do what we have to do, then everything else just flows in a way. It's not easy, but it's almost like nurturing that the abilities we have, trusting what is in us, innate. It's already there, but it takes trust. That's true. Trust that. That's such a beautiful thing that if all of us can do that. I wonder why it's not something that most people choose to do, because it's natural, right, Sylvie? It's that inner voice that says, it's time for a change. It's time to move on. It's time to do something that you love to do anyway. So why do you think, what holds us back, most of us, from listening to that voice? Would you say fear?
Yeah, that's beautiful actually what you just said about the inner wisdom and the little voice. It's there, it's already there. We don't have to really create it. It's already within us.
Right.
I would say that I think Gary Zukav talked about it in his book about the seed of the soul.
Yeah.
I think more in a detail. But what I remembered and I have also experienced is usually the intuition or the little voice within is the little voice within exactly. So it's the little silent, is the whispering, right? And if each of us lived every time based on it, I think we will have completely different lives.
For sure.
But what happens is the ego.
Yes, the fear.
And the ego in our mind, obviously, is very loud and likes to shout. And many times, unfortunately, it's just silenced down the little voice within, because we think that actually this is the right way. While the little voice is saying, we want to go left, but the inner voice is saying, oh no, go right. That's actually the right path. So I believe that part of really finding the balance, which we have discussed, finding the harmony in life, or the purpose and meaning, is realizing that what the ego is, how it sounds. It's not only the inner critic. No. It's something that is much more powerful. But I think that what is okay. I can tell you one thing. What is actually had been really the biggest discovery of the last, especially during the lockdown, probably a lot of us experienced that, because we have been given the opportunity to more reflect, to be more with our thoughts, I think is the zooming out. So once we are able really to understand what is happening and who is speaking, actually, whether it's the inner voice within or it's the ego, and we kind of become the third person, the observer, or in other words, someone who is looking from the the bird's eye, from the top, rather than being in the head, right? And then discussing it. I think that's something that can shift the life in a completely different direction, because we realize, oh, now it's actually the inner voice. Oh, but that time, when that thought came in, that was actually the ego speaking. And so that's why, for example, I strongly believe, and I really encourage people to do journaling or writing the diary, because what it helped me and what it helped a lot of people is that you put the thoughts on the paper, and exactly this is what happened, that you look at it from the distance, you look at it from the perspective. And in addition to the fact that it actually helps your mind, create more space in thinking, also, it takes, the memory or the thought is on the paper already, so you don't have to think about. You gain also more clarity what to do next. So, journaling is something that I practice every day. I really encourage people to do it because it's something that, actually gives you the perspective and create that space that we need to take the decisions.
By seeing it clearly, right? Yeah, journaling, it's a powerful, powerful tool. I have used it and it really works. It's a great, great suggestion, Sylvie. I love what you wrote, the article you sent. You say, the only thing that we can impact and change is now. Therefore, breathing is so important because it centers us in the present moment. That's another tool that you offer to your clients. Would you call it meditation or breathing techniques and breathing work?
I think, it's meditation. Would say that it's a little bit more complex than just having few breaths. But obviously, after a certain period of time of breathing, we come to the state of meditation. But breathing, it's also what we discussed earlier about giving and receiving, right? Teachers call it like you give the love and then you receive love. It's about something that is natural. Again, it's like the little voice within. It's something that actually centers us in the present moment. And the difficult thing I have experienced, and I'm still learning, this is a continuous learning, is to, in those moments where we actually need to be centered. For example, there is a difficult situation, or especially if we don't expect it, or someone at work or with a family or member or with a friend or with a spouse, and we really need to be centered. Think about it. Okay, now, I need to now take 3 deep breaths or 5 deep breaths. I think that's the beauty. And it's also the art, to know, okay, now is the time for me to go back to the breath. But this is a skill. It's like building a skill. And I see that over the course of time, I have become better. And it's also my clients, it helped them to become better at noticing, when is the right time to use the breath as a mechanism to feel centered and grounded, because it definitely helps us with negative emotions and centering us down to the present moment, because that's the present moment we can change, right? The only thing that we can change in life is the present moment. Like right now we speak and we can change the flow of the conversation if we want, or if you want. However, if the recording is already done or if tomorrow we can't really bring the record. So what I'm saying is that the power of now, as Eckhart Tolle in his book is talking about, is really something that I would say needs more reminding, especially today. We all live in such a distracted life, and if we really want to dig deep and find and live the purposeful, meaningful life, being able to take a decision or say no to certain things also required being centered, right? Because if we are all over the place, we're completely overwhelmed, stressed out, with no energy, it's very difficult to breathe and get centered, right? So, yeah, breath is definitely something that is a very powerful tool, and it's really up on each of us to learn how it can actually benefit us and the rest of people that we collaborate with or we are part of the community.
We're almost at the end, but I do have something else that you talked about that kind of caught my attention. Is you said by loving ourselves despite hardships, we honor our struggles, and this increases the trust in our abilities to handle the same situation again. I think you're referring that to the changes and challenges you had moving from one place to another. I love that you emphasize self-love. That to me is like the root of trust. If we can trust ourselves, then everything else, it just comes from that, expands, because it's natural. From love, we can only give love or see love. So would you like to add anything before my last question, Sylvie?
I would like to add something about the self-love, which is it's a beautiful topic, and obviously it's a separate topic for maybe for another time. But I would say that for me, self-love has been also a journey over the course of time, and I have to discover that every challenge that I overcome, whether it was moving from one country to another, changing the jobs, because obviously these things happen, when you move from one country to another, the relationships change, which is kind of, I think, that the most difficult part, because, being far from a family or from your friends that you build and develop the friendship for many years is something that I had to face. So it's something that it was not easy, and the decision obviously to move was not that easy. But facing challenges in work environment and in romantic partners as well over the course of time, I have realized that actually the more challenges I have faced, the more self-love I had for myself, which for some people would say, yeah, but that's not actually, because it's like a challenge, it's difficult, are you sure? But actually that's what was my experience, because I kind of go back to myself, and I was really happy that I was able to overcome this challenge or face the challenge. So also I get more confidence to do more challenge, and also obviously get more trust that, okay, next time when you have similar situation, step up, be courageous, speak up, etc. So definitely it was more over the course of time. I also learned how to be more powerful or have more energy into overcoming the challenges that I face every day. And definitely the self-love and practicing self-love on a regular basis in different forms is something that has become an essential part of my life. And I definitely recommend or suggest everyone to revisit that, maybe to look at what are the practices that you are currently having. Are they actually the ones that are leaving you fulfilled, or do you feel more energized after them? Do you feel more joyful after them, or you just do it because it's a habit, or someone says it's a good thing to do? Yeah, revisiting sometimes the practices that we do also help definitely to love more ourselves, and then once we love ourselves, we can actually love better or more others and the world itself.
I love the very beginning when you talked about reflection. So that it's very much connected. These practices that we have, self-love, trusting ourselves in life itself, and then also reflecting upon all that. So that's all part of the of the healing work, or the actually part of the dance of life, right, Sylvie? Really, it's not really work. It's just it's what it takes to be here. This is unconditional love to be in a human body. So why not dance this dance? It's an amazing one. So thank you so much for your presence in the healing world and for the messages you have, the work you do, and everything else in between. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Valeria.
And my last question to you is, what is another word for trust?
Yeah, that's something definitely that I have thought of. And I would start with, I would compare, because when I was preparing for this interview, I was actually thinking, how would I draw it? How would I visualize trust? And for me, I thought it's like a door. So you have the kind of closed door when you have no trust, because let's say you meet this person for the first time, or it's the fully open door, which is really the door, like unconditional love or the love to universe. And obviously each of us has the door opened with different people. So I would compare trust with depth, because the deeper we trust, the deeper we trust, the more depth we have, the more we trust. So, and the more we are able to connect with ourselves as well with the other, with the world or with others. So, if we have more trust in life, we have more depth in life, and we actually touched the life on a deeper level and experience it with its good moments, bad moments, with these happy moments, grieving moments. But that's actually what the life is about. So really embracing and embodying the life, it's about trusting life, and it's about then seeing the depth in life. And that's why living also the life with higher purpose and meaning, and ultimately serve the best to the world.
I love that. That resonates. Getting to know, getting to realize the depth of life leads us to trust it. So true. That takes being sensitive, very sensitive, to go deeper. So thank you for that message, Sylvie. It's a beautiful one, and the one that very much resonates with me. So before we say goodbye, where can we find more information about you, your products, services, and future projects?
So I have a website that is www.sylviefrancesca.com. So you can contact me there. I also have a YouTube channel, and I'm also on Instagram. So there are a few ways how you can contact me. I also write blog posts and have a bi-weekly newsletter. So if you like to become a part of the community, please visit my website, which is my name, surname.com, because I know that my name and surname can be quite difficult to write down and pronounce. So I want everyone just to make sure that the spelling is right. But, otherwise, I think that you will find me. So it's sylviefrancesca.com. And you can sign up for the newsletter or send me an email or message if you have any questions and queries. And I will be more than happy to connect with you.
Wonderful. I'll have the link on your podcast profile too, Sylvie. Thank you so much again, and we'll talk soon.
Yeah, thank you very much, Valeria, for inviting me. It was a pleasure and honor being able to speak to your community, to audience of such a kind. And I would like to also say and how grateful I am for the message that you share with the world, and for giving us the opportunity to speak on your podcast and to share our messages. So thank you very much for everything you do.
Thank you, Sylvie. Thank you again for your presence. We'll talk soon. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. To learn more about Sylvie Francesca and her work, please visit sylviefrancesca.com.
To learn more about this podcast, please visit fitforjoy.org/podcast. Thank you again for listening, and bye for now.